Hello, LegendAqua here for my favorite animes of summer 2023. And there were a lot this season, and a lot I couldn't actually watch, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Oddly enough, starting now. I did put Bang Dream, It's My Go, up for debate whether I'm going to watch it or not. Here's the thing, I am actually still watching it. I think I'm basically like halfway there, episode 5. Basically, this is a new installment, but it's set in the same universe, obviously, but with a new main cast. Basically. And for what I've, watched up to episode 5, let's just say this main cast, it felt like it's a corrupted version of the origin story of Pop and Party. So it's interesting in a kind of way. It is less in the slice of life way that Bang Dream in the early seasons were, and it's more in the more dramatic side. It's very dramatic as to what all these relationships with these band members are. So it's interesting. As I said, I'm only up to episode 5. So basically next season I will be hopefully talking about more of this later on. So I'll update this as it is. So yeah, that's Bang Dream, It's My Go. Next up, Horimiya. It's a pseudo sequel / midquel of Horimiya. As we get to see, a lot of their slice of life antics within what happened in the first season of Horimiya. There's not much to really talk about besides that, in a sense. If you liked Horimiya, obviously you're gonna like this one. It is more in tune with the slice of life comedy sections. A bit in the drama side, but it's all play for laughs, to say the least. To me, it was okay. It was okay, for the most part. Because considering it's a mid-cool and everything. So, yeah. Okay, this. In my anticipated summer 2023 video, I did say this was an isekai. I was wrong. It's an alternate universe. It's an alternate universe, but it retains the characters from Love Live Sunshine, and it gives a completely new story. But it uses the Love Live Sunshine cast, with Yohane as the main character. What did I think about it? Overall, it's okay for what it was. It's like, the thing is, because it's an alternate universe and everything, some of the characters retain their personality, some of them have new personalities to go along with it, as well as the fact that this is an alternate universe that is set in a fantasy setting instead of, Love Live's typical idol show. If you like some of the, Love Live Sunshine cast from the original and this one, you expect the same. Kinda, but also not. Like, my favorite character in the original Sunshine was actually Yohane, and this one is actually Daya. Yeah, it's actually Daya for this one instead. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this just by saying that, my favorite character changed for this installment and everything. I did get a little bit, I thought that this was an isekai and everything, but beyond that, if you think it's fine, like, especially if you're Love Live Sunshine fans or Love Live fans in general, you will like this. It's a different take on the Sunshine cast, so I'll definitely give it that. In general, what did I think about it? There is some dramatic points going on, especially with, where is this character that's actually only in this installment, Lilaps, that's voiced by Yoko Hisaka, which I did not expect, but beyond Lilaps and everything, what do I think about it? It was okay. It was okay for what it was. Again, Love Life fans, in my opinion, will definitely love this. For other people that kind of got a little bit curveball, the fact that this was an alternate universe instead of an isekai like me, I still think it's good though. I'll still think it's good. That's why I give it a 7. Okay, next up would be my Tiny Senpai. This one is another slice of life comedy one, and it involves, you know, the typical animes that you're seeing recently of, you know, will they, won't they, but with a different setting. But this time, the senpai is actually tiny, as you can see here, and the main character is right over there. They've got a beta couple of these two. Overall, if you want a wholesome anime, this is definitely one of them. Not to mention there is the beta couple of Chinatsu and Chihiro, also pretty good, and obviously Takuma and Shiori as the main couple. One thing I did find out is that Hina Tachibana is actually voiced by Nagi Hisakawa from the Deresute series, so this is actually a pretty good role that she's actually putting out as Shiori, so I definitely take that. Not much to say beyond that, beyond the fact that, you know, it's a slice of life comedy with the will they, won't they, with the fact that the main couple is a little bit interesting, mainly the tiny senpai. Seriously, she's the main reason why this entire series is good. The fact that it makes everything so wholesome. I would actually give that an 8. It's actually pretty good. It's good. It's good. Riza. Okay. So, the main reason I watched this, and I think I said this during my anticipated video, it's very obvious why. It is very obvious why. Not to mention all the... Let's just say the cameraman for this anime series was top notch, to say the least, especially on Riza. But yeah, this is obviously based on the game, and I haven't played the game, but considering what I got from this is actually what I got, did I like it? Did I like it beyond the fan service it gave? It was... Yeah, this is where it kind of falters slightly. In terms of waifu, yeah, Riza is definitely one of them, obviously. But in terms of the story and everything, the fact that this is based on the game, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's restricted by, you know, its source material in a ways, but still fine. If you liked it with the fan service, you can take that as a bonus, to say the least. But at the very least, I did actually get to know, you know, the Riza series a little bit more. Again, I said I've watched, this one before, the alternative setting. I've watched the, I say prequel, I guess? Yeah, I watched the prequel-ish before, or alternate setting one, in spring 2014. But yeah, this one, considering it's actually from the namesake of Riza, because her name, nicknamed, is Riza. In terms of story, it's okay. If it's in terms of fan service, it's very good. I want to give it an 8, but I can't. Again, it's just a game story. It was, if I had to critique it in a non-biased way, fan service is good. The characters are actually decent, but in terms of story, it is very slow. Character development, there is a little bit there, but beyond that, I can't say much. I can't say much about it. Seriously, the only reason, in my opinion, that I actually watched it was because of Riza. Not that I regret it. It's actually okay. So yeah, Masamune's Revenge R, and to say the least, it is the finale. And let's just say that it gets, I'll say, slightly controversial, but at the same time, it actually did pull off what the title stated at the very least at the end. I'm not going to spoil anything, I'm just going to say it as it is. It got slightly controversial because of a slight plot twist, but at the ending, it made sense. It made sense, but it did actually, I'll say that it grew its beard from the first season, because the first season was also slightly controversial in a sense, but this one, did I think it nailed the ending? Yes, actually, it kind of did, to say the least. Again, the title's namesake came into fruition, just not the way that we expected it to. It still went the way I expected it to, but it's actually still pretty good for a sequel/finale on this series. It was actually enjoyable because I actually want to know what the heck was going to happen with the plot twist, because there were a lot this season, especially for this one. So ending was nailed. I would give it a 9. It's not perfect, but it's actually decent, to say the least. If you like the first season and you want a resolution, it's actually good. It also depends on if you liked the resolution or not. I actually, I got it, and therefore I liked it. That's the process I'm going with here. Next up, okay, here's another bait that I bit. Okay, so I obviously, when I was doing my most anticipated anime of summer 2023, I skipped over the synopsis merely because I thought this was, a girl with glasses, and we'll see her in glasses, and you guys know what I like. But I got baited. To say the least, because I didn't read the synopsis. And the synopsis is basically, it's a wholesome romance anime about a girl who keeps losing her glasses or breaking her glasses a lot. And obviously the main character and the girl that keeps forgetting her glasses, grows an attachment with one another. And to that end, it is wholesome. Also, the main point that I took was the fact that this was done by Studio Gohands, and you know how infamous they are because they did Handshakers. Did they go crazy with this one? Not that much. Thankfully, not that much, because considering this is a romance, it's a slow burner kind of situation, so they don't need to do all these crazy effects or anything. When they do it, it's actually pretty good. They were being restrained on this one, I'll say the least. And when the moments for the more beautiful scenes showed up, it took effect, and it's actually pretty good. I have heard some people still felt a little bit nauseous with some of the effects here and there. I can kind of get that. But overall, this is Studio Gohands being restrained, which is a somewhat rarity, but thankfully, as I said, in terms of animation, very good. In terms of the story, wholesome to say the least, and I was pretty much sticking by it. May, which is the girl who keeps forgetting her glasses, is actually a big contender for my waifu for this season, for obvious reasons. Not to mention she's voiced by Shion Wakayama. This was a no-brainer for me. Even though I got baited by not reading synopsis, this was actually still pretty good for a wholesome kind of romance anime. Obviously, you need to suspend your disbelief. The fact that Ai keeps breaking or forgetting her glasses every single episode, but that's for the narrative to go on. So I kind of respect that in ways. Overall, great. I liked it. I liked it for obvious reasons, even though I got baited. Even though I got baited. Next up is what I call Yahari Snafu Light. The Dreaming Boy is a realist. This is basically Yahari, but light, because the main character basically pines for Aika here. However, Aika obviously rejects him, and he basically says, okay, fine, I'll distance myself from you, and then he gets into all these hijinks with these other girls, and how it ends up, I think this is the most known thing about this series, is the fact that the main character here isn't a dunce, to say the least, because he is actually pretty smart, thus more of the Yahari comparisons in a ways, but because of his rejection to the main female love interest, and the fact that he, distanced himself, he kind of grew a harem when he didn't even know it, and because of that, it kind of grew a bit of jealousy from the main female love interest. And the fact that Aika here basically, I can't really spoil it that much, but let's just say that circumstances made her jealous in a ways, and kinda pines for the main character now, in a sense. The main reason being that Aika misses the pining, the pining scenarios from the main character. So it's basically jealousy, but in a sense that it's not the main character's fault, because the main character, because he got rejected by her, and he said, okay, fine, I'll distance myself from you, it caused that effect. It's not his fault. It's technically not his fault, and that is why I kind of see this as a Yahari Light situation. The other harem members are decent. The only one I actually took note of was actually her. Yeah, Rin Shinomiya, who's basically the head of the Public Morals Committee. She stood out to me. Obvious reasons. So what I think about this is basically it's a harem kind of anime-ish. Again, Yahari is also the same thing. The plot twist, again, with the fact on what's going on with the main character and the female love interest, was actually quite interesting. So, to that end, I actually kind of give it an 8. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. If you like Yahari, then you're gonna like this, definitely. Next up is My Happy Marriage, and I wasn't expecting this to get popular at all, but it did. Considering this was actually up for grabs for me to actually watch or not, I did actually decide to watch this. I was pleasantly surprised because this is basically a Cinderella story, but anime. Seriously, it is, because to say the least, our Cinderella here, Mio, had a rough childhood. Very rough childhood. And you so probably evil step-sister, evil step-mother, dumbass father. Yeah, the father actually lives in the Cinderella story, and oddly enough, he is an absolute moron. Yeah, let's just say that all three of these people are hate sinks, especially her, because evil stepmother, seriously, she is irredeemable to say the least. You're an absolute dumbass. Her grey morality, I'll say, but she's still pretty bad because of her upbringing and everything. Let's just say that she bullies the Cinderella, Mio, here a lot. So, she's still irredeemable, to say the least, but not as irredeemable as her mother, to say the least. Overall, since I see, this is a Cinderella story, but it's anime, but there's also supernatural elements in here. I've heard that this is getting a second season. Yeah, like right here. What did I think about the first season at least? It's still pretty good for what it is, because it is trying to build up some supernatural world building elements, because Mio is special in the ways and supernatural elements are involved. Overall, it's still good. I just don't know what the heck they're gonna do for a second season. I actually don't know what they're gonna do for a second season. With I'm also debating if I'm going to watch it or not, because here's the thing. The main draw, for me at least, was the fact that this was a Cinderella story. How are they going to expand on this besides the world building? The world building, I absolutely understand that they might, especially with the plot twist involving Mio. Beyond that, again, I don't know what they're going to do for a second season, if there's any material or anything to expand on. But we'll see. We'll see when the second season actually happens. Overall, it's still pretty good. It is very good. Even though it's, as I'm going to do a TLDR on it, it is a Cinderella story, but it's an anime in these supernatural elements. Clean cut. Next up is the vending machine isekai. Oddly enough, this was actually pretty good for an isekai, because at the start it is, again, your typical OP powered main character, but with a weird gimmick, that being he reincarnated as a vending machine. But obviously that's the gimmick. But the thing is, for this isekai, yes, him as an isekai main protagonist, he is actually overpowered as a vending machine. How? It's because before he was reincarnated, he was a vending machine otaku. So since he's now the thing he loves as a vending machine, and he knows all of this knowledge about vending machines, he can turn to basically anything he wants as long as it's a vending machine. I'm being absolutely serious. And this anime actually works on this logic. Actual, realistic logic. Oddly enough, as a vending machine. And it actually works in its favor. I'm being absolutely serious. I was expecting this to be an absolute parody, but it's actually taking itself very seriously for an isekai. Yes, the main protagonist is OP as hell, but he still needs help, even though he's OP, because at the same time, since he's so OP as hell, he does need to save the other cast members a lot. Therefore, even though he's OP, the rest aren't. So it does balance things out a little bit, and again, because it's realistic, and the things he thinks up at the same time, it works in this anime's favor, and I actually really liked it because of that. Oddly enough, again, this is a very enjoyable anime, and the mere fact that it's getting a second season actually kind of shows that, because I'm actually very interested in what's going to be happening in the second season because of the world building we got. It's going to be interesting going forward. Beyond the main character and probably Lamus and Hirumi. Yeah. Seriously, the main companions of the vending machine guy. There is one other character I liked, and considering it's voiced by Ai Kaino, yeah, I liked her as well. I very much liked her as well. Because in my opinion, she kind of reminded me a lot of Utaha Kasumi Goka. Just the fact that, she's more in the money-hungry business, and the fact that Ai Kaino's voice, come on. It's basically Utaha if she was in a fantasy setting, and she's not a writer. Instead, she's a hunter, and she likes money. Basically, that's why. But yeah, this was surprising. This anime was actually very surprising, to say the least. I very much liked it, so definitely gonna enjoy what the second season's gonna bring out. Again, this was a surprise on its own. This anime was such a surprise as to how good it was. Undead Murder Farce. Sorry, Undead Girl Murder Farce. So, this was also an anime that I was debating whether I was going to watch or not. After sort of first season, I had to watch it. I had to watch it. So, basically, I'm going to give this a 9 immediately. Because the mystery component, there's a huge mystery component towards this. Because one of the main characters, Aya Rindo, is basically a detective, and yes, you kind of saw that right. She is basically a head. Yeah, there's a backstory with that. I'm not going to go into it, but basically, she solves riddles and involves basically like historic figures, but in a shizotech steampunk scenario where obviously supernatural elements exist, and the main goal for Undead Girl Murder Farce is basically solving riddles or solving mysteries or murder cases while also trying to find her body. That is the main goal for the series. And I think like a TLDR is basically, think of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but if it was an anime, because there are legendary historic figures within this anime, and they fight it out as well. So, yeah, that in itself is actually pretty interesting to say the least. But I very much enjoyed it. Obviously, I gave it a 9. Again, I very much enjoyed this one. I wish there was a second season, because what world building that they gave out, it's very interesting. I want to see where Aya's body is and everything. It is, in my opinion, it is a huge underdog for this season to me. It very much is. I really liked it. I want this to be expanded more, definitely. And the mystery element, you can probably also, go along with Aya to collect clues and figure out who the main culprit is a lot. I believe there is basically 3 mysteries within this season. So if you can figure those out, yeah, go for it and everything. As for me, I was wrong every single time besides the second one. I was predicting that to happen, except for one plot twist that completely shattered it, and I got no idea where it was going later on. In other words, it kept me on my toes. So overall, very good mystery anime, very good supernatural anime. Again, my TLDR pretty much sums it up as well. Again, just if you like mystery, seriously, watch this anime. Rental Girlfriend 3rd season. Okay, so a lot of people, again, this series is controversial in a sense, but I'm gonna put my foot down and say that this 3rd season is basically its peak. I'm being absolutely serious. This season absolutely blew me out of the water. Like, it gave huge character development towards Chizuru. Like, absolutely. Considering what happens in the season, I'm not going into too many details, but huge character development for Chizuru. Main character finally grew a freaking spine, and he became absolutely crazy good as a character. Like, finally, it took 3 seasons just to get there, but he finally did it. However, considering there might be a 4th season on the way, there is a huge chance that the big character development that Kazuya got is going to be absolutely desecrated at some point. And because of that, let's just say that it's not gonna, like, it is absolutely gonna destroy him. It is absolutely gonna destroy him, and I don't like it. But for this third season, at the very least, it's, as I said, it's peak. It is absolute peak, mainly because of Chizuru's character development, him growing a spine. Also, the new character Minnie is actually a great addition because she is actually Kazuya's wingwoman for Chizuru. So Minnie as a cast addition is still pretty good. Sumi didn't get much screen time, but still, what she got was actually pretty good. Ruka, it depends on how you like her or not. I'm actually on the side of Ruka as well as Chizuru. The season made it very hard for me to actually choose either. It still made me hard to choose overall throughout these 3 seasons, but this season actually made it the tiebreaker because it's a tie. Sorry, it's not a tiebreaker. It's a tie between Chizuru and Ruka. Again, this 3rd season is the absolute peak, in my opinion, for Rental Girlfriend. It's only going to go downhill from here, from what I've heard, and considering that panel hasn't shown up. Yeah, I think you kind of know what I'm trying to say here. I actually, again, liked it. Absolutely great. I'm dreading the 4th season, but I'm also waiting for that panel to show up. So, yeah. I'm leaving it there. Again, Rental Girlfriend as a whole, I know it's controversial as a series, but this 3rd season, I have to be absolutely honest, it absolutely peaked. It absolutely peaked with the seasons. It's only downhill from here. I can't wait to see that train wreck. Next up is Reign of the 7 Spellblades. Oh, it's 15 episodes. Okay. So, this, from what I know, is up to actually episode 13 at the moment. Dang it, I was hoping for a 2-cur, but it's only 15 episodes. Basically, it's Harry Potter, but if it was an anime. But it's a lot darker as well, oddly enough. Like, this, I felt like the author for the series took huge inspirations from Harry Potter, but fleshed out everything that was wrong about Harry Potter at the same time. This series is basically that. Also, if you guys have watched it or not, I will actually say, because I found this comparison a little bit funny, but Nanano here is let's see, she's a swordswoman. Is like her main weapon is a sword. She changes her hair color. Although she's not tsundere, she is, different from the rest of the cast in a ways. Who does this remind me of? And remember, this is done by JC Staff. Yeah, this is modern day Shana, but if she wasn't a tsundere. Seriously, Nanao gave me that vibe the entire time. As soon as I know that her hair color changed when she was in battle mode, I kind of realized that she was Shana. She's modern day Shana if she was in a magical setting instead of real life in that sense. So yeah, if you can tell, I actually very much like Nanao. Also, pretty much also another waifu for me for this season as well. Considering this season has not finished yet, it's obviously 2 seasons away from the time when we're recording this. What did I still think about this? Considering I'm actually hyping this up a lot, and I like it. I very much like it. If I absolutely have to give it anything, it's probably a 9. I really like this one. If it does get a second season, I want it to flesh everything out. The major plot twist for this series also gripped me as well. So yeah. Also, why is it a 6.6? It's PS7, come on. But yeah, this one was actually pretty good. I really liked it. Seriously, if you guys liked Harry Potter, you are going to like this. Seriously, you are going to like this. Next up, AI no identity. Okay, so the gene of AI. Okay, so I believe when I was what was it? I was talking about through my anticipated video about the series. Who knows? You know, it's a who knows, but I was kind of interested kind of scenario. It's how do I say it? It's not a widget series. It's the flavor of the episode, but it involves AI kind of scenario. It also looks at the existential crisis of like humanoid AIs, if there was a thing in current society kind of thing. It touches on that subject, obviously. If it's about the main characters, not really. It's more about the minor characters and what they go through and everything. The main character does have a goal. We just never get to see it, or it's just left up to complete chance what happened to him. Overall, I'm not gonna say it's an absolute bore. Some of the topics it treated was actually interesting. I was hoping to get, more on the main character focus, but it's more like we get to see, how he came to be, and then his goal, but we never get to see his goal achieved or not, because it's completely left up in the air. The rest of the bulk is about every other character and what they're going through, about, how AI might affect us in general. The philosophical aspect does come in, and that's actually pretty good. In terms of anime structure, I was expecting a little bit more, but it's what we got. It's done by Madhouse as well. Oh my god. Oh, I wanted to like this one, to say the least. You can kind of see me actually wanting to like this, but not enough substance, I'll say. I wanted to see more, but it just didn't. It's kind of a shame, but considering, I get the open-endedness for the series, but in terms of story and character development, not much. Again, just it's more in the side stories with the side characters, with just the main character being an observer slash not instigator, but he helps out the rest of the minor cast members. The minor cast members has more of a character development than he does, even though at the end for him we get to see some resolution, but it's so open-ended we can't exactly give it, but that's also the point. You can kind of see my point. I wanted to like it, but it was fine. It was fine. It could have been better, in my opinion. It could have been better. Liar, liar. I did not have enough time to watch this one. I didn't. So even though I planned to watch it, I didn't watch a single episode. I did try and take a peek and everything. Again, I believe I looked at the synopsis and everything, but I didn't have enough time, so I shelved this one. So yeah. This one too. I wanted to, but also no. Again, this was during a time slot where a lot of anime came out during that day. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it merely because of time. You, on the other hand, is completely different. So I did actually watch one episode of You, but I stopped watching after that. Why? I don't like the premise. The premise just felt meh. Because the main character is absolutely OP. He's obviously going to gain harem and everything. It's set in a hero fantasy world. It felt generic. So I basically skipped it. I watched one episode and that was it. Seriously, that was it. So this one does not get like Hero Classroom does not get an excuse like this one or this one. This one was Liar Liar, and the Nico one was merely because of time restraints. This one I just felt it was meh. So you can kind of see why I skipped it. Temple, on the other hand, is your basic, typical harem ecchi anime. Just the difference is the main character doesn't like he doesn't want to have impure thoughts because his father was that kind of person, if you know what I'm trying to say. But he tries to go into a temple and he finds out that his main love interest is actually working at this temple, which is actually a nunnery, by the way. And yeah, he is trying to go in the ways of Buddhism and try to get those impure thoughts out of the way. Oddly enough, he gains a harem and hijinks happened. Basic stuff here. In terms of like one of the only ecchi animes I actually watched this season, did I like it? It was fine. It was fine. There was one big plot twist. If you know what I'm trying to trying to say here, you know. But it was alright. It was alright. Again, your typical ecchi anime. Main protagonist goes into hijinks with the main harem. Ecchi stuff happens. Typical. You know what I'm trying to say here with that one. Okay, Zom 100. Okay, let's get into this because this one has been delayed so many times, and quite ironic that this one gets delayed so many times because this anime is basically about a guy who's stuck in a black company and gets overworked to death almost. And yeah, considering this anime got delayed heavily a lot, and quite honestly it does show that the animators were also overworked, so the irony is pretty strong with this anime. Like meta wise, it's pretty ironic in a sense. This anime, from what I've heard, is going to get indefinite hiatus. Yup, because of the it's absolute production hell. The animators were overworked to hell. Again, the irony is pretty palpable for this one. I believe it stopped at episode 10, I believe, and now it's an indefinite hiatus. However, this is one of the best animes of this season, but because animators are so overworked and got delayed so many times, obviously some of the hype did die down, but I do feel for the animators. Also, like, seriously, the irony, the absolute irony that this anime is basically based on the fact that the main protagonist gets overworked to hell, but until a zombie apocalypse happens, he's finally freed from his restraints. The animator's overworked to hell, and it's now in an indefinite hiatus. Oh, the irony. It's a good anime. It's a good anime, though, and I feel for the animators, but my god, it is absolute production hell from what I've heard. Oh. Dark Gathering. Okay, so this is a two-cour, and I was not expecting this to be very good because this is basically Ghostbusters, the anime, and it's dark as hell. Because I believe this anime actually does stem some references from real life, you know, horror myths in Japan, like certain ghost sighting places, and puts it into anime. And the main draw is the fact that Yayoi here, basically, yes, she does have skulls for her irises, but let's just say that she wants to save her mom from this absolutely powerful ghost or like entity. It's a deity or an entity, something like that. And she is basically building up her own ghost army to take it down. The major problem is the fact that every single ghost that comes to her, they don't, because they are so scared of her. And what's the remedy towards this? This guy. And this guy attracts basically tons of zombies, tons of ghosts to him. So he becomes the perfect bait for Yayoi to get her own ghost army to go to basically, you know, have a full-on assault on the main deity ghost that captured her mom. Aiko is also here, and she is, let's just say there is a reason why she's also here, but the mere fact that she's also, you know, you can kind of see Hozuki, their relatives in a way. And yeah, she is also a draw. Aiko is also a draw because she is an absolute yandere. But it's very interesting because, again, like what I said from the synopsis in general, this anime does stem from like real life Japanese ghost stories or like mythical horror place settings in real life in Japan. Obviously, it, like some of the namings is kind of like skewed, but for the most part, from what I know, it does stem from real life ghost stories or ghost places that's haunted, and they actually go there in the anime / real life in a sense. It's very interesting. One thing though, it is extremely gory in a sense. Obviously not towards the main human characters. Let's just say that a lot of the ghosts' demise is extremely brutal. But it can go either way because they are so brutal, it can be actually kind of funny because of the backstories being absolutely completely insane. But these ghosts either go two ways. Either goes that they are so scary, or they are so scary to the point that their demise becomes an absolute laughingstock. Yeah. Take that like you will. Again, it's a 2-cour, so it's still going. I believe it's up to episode 13 by the time of this recording. But it's interesting. It is very interesting. I actually like it a lot. I would actually give it a 9 if I have to, but it's still ongoing, so I'll leave it there. Seriously, if you like horror anime and you actually like, you know, real life haunted ghost places, this anime does actually have you covered. So yeah, watch Dark Gathering if you must. Noah, I actually skipped this one again with time restraints, so I had to skip this one. You, on the other hand, I actually watched because I liked Spy Classroom, and we actually get to see more development from the rest of the cast from the first season. Namely Thea, Monica, and Annette. Annette especially Annette. Oh my god. I won't go into too much spoilers, but let's just say that we get a lot of development from the rest of the other spies. Annette and Thea also. Thea actually gets a lot of development this season. We finally get to see why she became a spy and everything, as well as the fact that, let's just say that the second season, it's not isolated from the first season, it's actually connected. So if you like the first season of Spy Classroom like I did, you are going to love the second season. I absolutely loved it. The mere fact that it's also spy themed, and it also like puts you on guard as to what's going to happen. Like, it does the spy genre justice. Absolutely. Absolutely. It gives the character development, huge world building at the same time, because of the main villains we're going to face as well in the second season. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I might give this... Oh, I want to give this a 10. I want to give this a 10 because it was so well done. It, like, resolved basically everything, while also giving us more ammo for a third season, if it's actually possible. 9 for now. 9 for now. Here's the thing. It's good. It is good. So good. On the other hand, on second seasons, this one fell off. This one fell off so bad. I don't know what happened to this. I don't know what happened to this series. Like, I've heard some rumors that went on about this, but this one just lost steam. This one just lost steam. I don't know why. Like, there are some parts that are still good. It has elements of what the first season had and why it was such a draw in the first place. The mere fact that this is a reverse isekai, the fact that the main protagonist and the main hero basically gets into our world, and they need to make ends meet. So one becomes a call girl, and the other one works at McDonald's or McDonald's. And that was basically the first season, and it was, it worked off of it. This second season, it felt like they regressed, oddly enough. I have heard some rumors as to actual ending of this like manga in general. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to talk about the anime second season. The second season lost steam. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. You. The kid was so annoying. And she hangs around Emi most of the time, but just, oh my god, the kid. Like, I get why she's here, but she just slowed the pace down completely. I get the entire reverse isekai situation, but just, oh my god. Like, I could tolerate Alice Ramos's older sister, if you can call it that, or younger sister, but just, oh my god, I don't know what happened to this series. Not to mention, later on, I'm gonna spoil this, but I don't care. Like, basically the main cast goes back to their world. I get it, but why? The main draw of Devil was a part-timer was the fact that it was a reverse isekai, and the main character was just trying to live out his life in our world, even though he was a demon lord. Why go back? Like, I get why they want to go back, but just... Oh, I did not like this. I didn't like it. Like, halfway through the anime is just when I kind of realized, because I just started, like, picking up my phone and just half watching it and half looking at my phone. That's how bad it is. Anime isn't supposed to do that, but it made me do that constantly, like, halfway through, especially when Alice Ramos, like, basically took center stage, and she is actually crucial for the story, by the way, and just, like, I don't know what happened. I actually don't know what happened to the second season. Again, I liked the first season and everything, but just, wow, it just felt like a downgrade. I don't know why. In my opinion, like, did I think it needed a second season? Like, it would have been cool, but at the same time, I'm also thinking, did we actually need it? Because the first season was great on its own. This second season, beyond the world building and some character improvements, it felt like more of a regression than progression, and that's saying something. Not just with the not with not just only with the cast bloat on like Alice Ramos and the focus on her, and just bringing in all the fantasy isekai part to both go back to that fantasy place, but also putting way more focus on the fantasy thing instead of, you know, the isekai thing where the main demon lord is working at McDonald's. I don't know. It felt like it lost it. Like it can't just be me. I wanted to like this. You can kind of see I'm actually absolutely torn, but at the same time, I actually don't like it at the same time. This was bad. This was bad. I wanted to like this, but oh my god, it was bad. It's average. I'm not gonna say it's absolutely horrible, but for a second season, for what it gave out, beyond what I know as an ending, I'm not gonna spoil the ending for the manga, but for the second season, it was a letdown. It wasn't absolutely horrible. It was trying to do new things, but oddly enough, those new things went back to regressing. Oddly enough, just I don't know what happened to the second season. It could have been something good, but at the same time, I'm also questioning whether Devil's a Part-Timer needed a second season. That's saying something. I don't know what happened. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, this one is from the huge delay from the previous season. Finally got released. Did I watch the rest? Time restraints. I couldn't. You as well. I can't see Triangle. I also didn't have enough time to actually watch it. I will watch it on my own time if I absolutely have to. What else? Eden Zero. I've actually finished watching all the way, and is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, I'll give that a strong 9. Mainly because we finally get to see some resolutions, and we also got to a new galaxy, I guess, and a new threat. I'm not going into too much details, but let's just say that Eden Zero is going pretty strong. I really want to see where it's going next, and considering it hinted at a third season, I'm so sure it's hinted at a third season at some point. No, it has not, but there were screenshots, you know, hints towards a third season. So if it does get announced, I will happily watch the third season of Eden Zero because it is so good. Like, it needs to keep up the momentum, and it's keeping it up. Very much enjoyed it. So, okay, yeah. So this one also didn't watch because of time constraints, even though it's 4 episodes. I will get back to this one as well. Didn't have enough time. Yeah, it was an hour long, but I didn't have enough time. Also didn't have enough time for this midquel of quintuplets. I've watched, and I've actually gave it a strong 9, I believe. Yes, I did. Basically, this is the prologue for Fate Strange Fake, and it's actually got announced that it's getting a TV series. I'm not going to talk much about it, so wait till the TV series for that one is out, I guess, but I gave it a strong 9 either way. Okay, I think that is about it, besides one little thing. I caught up with Bleach. That's it, this one. So I got past the Fullbringer arc, and then I basically watched to here. And I might need to change that score. It is, oh my god, it is so good. The animation is so good. The progression of where it's going right now is so good. I cannot wait for what's going on in the next season, or the third part of the 1,000-Year Blood War. Oh my god, I can't wait. I cannot wait what's going on. Not to mention, there is one little thing I'll need to say about the 1,000-Year Blood War, which is it felt rushed at the end. Although from what I've heard, the manga also was kind of rushed around here as well, so I can kind of see why it translated into it, besides some small expansions towards some of the stuff that happened. But yeah, I finally caught up with Bleach, which is a feat in itself because it took me 10 years just to watch all of Bleach. I finally caught up. It deserves that 10. It deserves that 10. Hopefully I'll keep up that 10 for the next cur. But yeah. Okay. I think that will do it for my summer 2023 anime of... Oh boy. Sorry. It's the, my favorites of summer 2023. I think my waifus for this season were actually between Nanao and Ai Mei. It's between those two, definitely. Overall, I think, for the most part, the favorite anime, it's a toss-up between actually this. I'm not going to include Bleach, but it'll be there. Zom, I really want to put that in my favorites, but it hasn't finished yet. Spy Classroom, definitely. I'll actually give Spy Classroom like maybe top 3. To me, okay, it's between 3 animes for me. It's between this, obviously, for best romance. That's a close 4th. I put that as a close 4th. As I said, like Rental Girlfriend actually peaked, so it's actually probably in 4th place. So it's maybe top 5. This is like top 3, and then probably Bleach up top, somewhere there. But Zom for the non-sequel version of it. If it finished, I would have. But yeah, this season was actually pretty strong, to say the least. It had some downs, but for the most part, summer 2023 was actually pretty good. Very good. So yeah, comment below what you thought about summer 2023 and, my takes on it, and let me know. With that, LA out.